With a pounding head, you stepped outside the building. It had been a busy day at the Pizzaplex. Fazbear Entertainment put huge emphasis on birthday parties. Understandable. Anyone invited was throwing loads of cash out the window, and parents were more inclined to spend just to not upset one of their brats. Though what was strange to you was always the amount of children present. Your entire life you had like 5 friends, and now that you were an adult the number had diminished to just 3. So what gives? How do these brats manage to have 10 to 20 friends, all of whom they know their names of, where they live, their birthdays, their favorite colors, favorite things to do? How was that possible? You barely managed to remember your own birthday. God damn it, you were jealous of little Isaiah, little Harry, little Susie, and little Jeremiah. Well, maybe not that girl, Cassie. Though she did get a free makeover from Roxy herself, after no one showed up to her birthday. It was incredibly awkward keeping up your facade during that moment. According to your contract, you were meant to always be jolly and see the good in everything. And all you really wanted to do was hug that girl and say sorry to her, even though it wasn't your fault no one came. Man, did it make you a terrible person for thinking that this was still your favorite moment of the day, simply because you had to do the least? Thank God that animatronic saved the day off. You've been in an even worse mood right now. Thank God the wolf animatronic saved the day, or you'd be in an even worse mood right now. You were an animatronic wrangler and birthday party waitress. Your stage name was Miss Nancy. And that's what every animatronic referred to you as such. You were dressed in an almost slutty bunny costume that was super tight. It actually made you feel a little naked, thanks to its tightness. Your face was painted to be more fitting with the costume. As an animatronic wrangler, it was your duty to identify whenever one of the machines was about to go haywire. Intervene and find a customer-friendly way to get the robot out of there. They could have their little fits in private. And as a birthday waitress, you were to accompany any rented glamrock animatronic to the occasion to ensure perfect customer happiness, while also keeping the party alive with your mechanical companion. In other words, you were a birthday clown in a bunny suit, there to ensure that the animatronics didn't kill anyone by accident. You grunted as you pulled out a pack of smokes. It was super late in the evening, and the sun just barely managed to keep the sky painted in a beautiful orange. The air was cold enough for your breath to manifest as steam, and you sighed in a vain attempt to cool your lungs off. For one of the parties, the parents of the little Isaiah had rented out the entirety of Gator Golf for 3 hours, as well as booking the Gator for the entirety of the party. Problem was, Monty forgot to switch to his balloon-inflating hands, so it was up to you to supply the entire party with balloon animals. What a fucking joke. Who built robots who could forget basic things? Your mouth hurt from the constant smiling, and your lungs were sore from the balloons. Putting the cigarette into your mouth, you inhaled deeply. Not really such a good idea to smoke now. But after you took only 2 drags from it, you pulled it out of your mouth. Damn it. Must have grabbed one of Brian's joints. You're already feeling a little dizzy. Meanwhile, through the corridors of the maintenance tunnels, you were being followed. A predator had set its eyes on you the moment you had wandered through the dark, damp hall to the emergency exit, in front of which you were having your smoke. And when its mechanical eyes fell upon you, and your lit cigarette. Its instincts had been awoken. Silently, it jumped from shadow to avoid both detection and its greatest weakness from manifesting. And as you were sighing pleased, the hunter built itself up behind you to its full size. One hand pressed on your mouth to suppress your surprised yelp, while its other arm wrapped around your hip. Before you were dragged back into the maintenance tunnels, you threw yourself against the restraints, but you were both too high, and honestly the fact that you could see the familiar animatronic arm, that took all the horror out of it. You knew who was carrying you. In fact, you were deadpanning by the time the animatronic had shoved you into a first aid station. Your eyes darting to his red glowing eyes. Owen, what the hell?
I apologize, Miss Nancy, but smoking on the job is a health and safety hazard, and I must make sure your health and safety is ensured.
You crossed your arms defiantly as the robot pulled out a breathalyzer. That's for alcohol.
Oh.
He put it back and then grabbed a bandage. I'm not physically hurt either. He blinked, staring at you silently for a moment. Unsure of what to do, he slowly reached for the breath mints, expecting you to snap at him. Every inch he got closer. That's the closest to the right thing possible, Moon. The noise of his endoskeleton teeth chattering as it smiled behind his mask was unmistakable, and the machine was super proud of itself. And besides, I'm on my break. I can do whatever I want. He still grabbed your wrist and placed the breath mint into your palm.
Must I tell you how terrible smoking is? I mean, look at your eyes. They're bloodshot and... That wasn't just nicotine in there, was it?
Here we go.
Miss Nancy, what would the children think?
There are no more children in the daycare. It closes at 5. And after 6, the only people who come here are teenagers and adults. Moon raised a finger to fuss at you more, but as the animatronic was quickly going through the guest lists of people currently inside the Pizzaplex, he grumbled.
There's still enough people under 18 here. You're supposed to be a role model, Miss Nancy.
You scoffed. Not on my break, hon. You need to understand I'm still a person and... besides, that wasn't my weed, it was Brian's. Offended, the robot took a step back.
As if it matters whose letters it was.
You let Brian get away with it. He grumbled. So why not me? Shuffling comfortably, the robot turned around, facing away from you.
Oh well, that's different. Brian is a security guard. You are a live performer. I just can't with good conscience have you perform like that.
You sighed. All my schedules are done for the rest of the day.
Wrong?
He shouted. I am certain I know my schedule better than you.
Miss Nancy, there's a reason I was stalking you. I mean, looking for you.
You narrowed your eyes. This was suspicious. Moon rarely, if ever, was awake outside of nighttime, and when he was, he usually caused the child to cry, or some shenanigans that was unwarranted.
Miss Nancy, may I remind you that today is very special for you?
As you reached for your phone, the robot interrupted you.
It's your birthday!
You inhaled sharply. Oh.
What do you mean, no? Did you forget your own birthday? How dare you forget your own birthday? I was preparing it. I got ready for it. We got ready for it.
He hit his head with his fist, as if it wasn't obvious that by we he meant son. Moon.
And you rather spend it high, ruining the surprise.
Your lips quivered. You're about to burst into laughter.
And accuse Brian of switching out your cigarettes.
Actually, I think I just grabbed the wrong ones. You furrowed your brows. Or do you think Brian switched out my cigarettes for his joints as a birthday surprise?
The probability of that being the case is not zero.
So what? You expected me to just randomly go to the daycare during my break instead of doing what I always do, which is go out for a smoke?
That is unlikely, but I assume not zero. I took a chance and assumed today might be the case. Because it's your birthday. A special occasion.
You furrowed your brows. Moon, all this time with Brian and the night shift is screwing with your brain. Brian Chesterbill Crawford was a laid-back hottie with long black hair and green eyes. He also was leader of the day shift, and everyone in the Plex knew he came to work high, and somehow managed to not only keep this high until the end of his shift, but also have both perfect work efficiency and attendance, and that's why he usually got away with it. Alright, Moon. What did you and Son plan?
Before the daycare closed for the day, Son was so kind as to make little paper decorations with the little brats. All for today. After it closed down, I spent the last hour setting everything up. I would have preferred if you weren't mentally damaged by your consumption of the devil's lettuce, but that's besides the point. Please, Miss Nancy, accompany me to make this birthday extra special for you. You deserve it.
You exhale through your nose sharply. It's just been a very long time since someone took my birthday so serious. Usually I just get high, go to some club, get drunk, go home with the first guy who doesn't look like he's gonna record us banging, and that's it.
Oh, by Afton, Miss Nancy, language!
You chuckled. Or what? He crossed his arms.
I will still respect you too much to for anything in your way. You are my favorite employee, and that's why I'm going out of my way to do this. And you're ruining it by being smug.
Okay. I'm coming with you. Though, as you opened the door leading into Rockstar Row after you walked through the maintenance tunnels together with the robot, Moon hissed at the light that came through it, and you opened a nearby vent cover.
Miss Nancy, meet me at the daycare. All this light is disgusting. What kind of demon would even want to survive in that?
You chuckled at his annoyance before turning to the direction which led to the Superstar daycare. Luckily, on your path, you weren't interrupted by anyone, as most teens at this time were in the Western Arcade, and the shift change was happening soon, which also was usually your time to clock out, but it also was the reason you didn't meet any employees. Thankfully, this counted as wrangling with animatronics, so this probably would end up being some overtime for you. You entered the daycare through the slide. As expected, it was fully dark. Moon watched you perched up on a pillar like a cat. Thankfully, there were enough ambient lamps still left on, so you could just barely make out enough things to see. And as you walked into the middle of the play area, narrowing your eyes to focus your vision, you could just make out various paper crafts being hung up. Curiously, you grabbed one of them. It was a little folded paper star, Out of nowhere, the animatronic was suddenly behind you.
Miss Nancy, what do you think?
Well, to tell you the truth, you can't do much. So, this is more a meaningful gift rather than a practical one?
Just say you don't like it then.
You sighed before hugging the animatronic. Trying to sound genuine, you said, I love it. Truthfully, though, you would have preferred to clock out right now. At least only for a moment.
Miss Nancy, are you happy?
As happy as I can be, Moon.
No, that's not enough.
Huh? You let go of him, but he wrapped his arms around you, making you deadpan.
I'm programmed to ensure customer happiness on birthday. As happy as can be means you could be happier. Tell me what is missing, Miss Nancy.
A guy inside me, you muttered without thinking, blushing upon realizing you said it out loud. The robot made a noise of discomfort, but then he wrapped his arms around you tighter and whispered,
Fine then, I will do it. I must suffice. For your birthday.
You snickered.
Don't doubt me, Miss Nancy. I will do it.
Do you even know what you're saying? He grumbled. Taking a step back, he crossed his arms.
Well, yes. In fact, I do. It is on my list of things I'm not allowed to do. And I need to understand what I'm not allowed to do, or else I might do it by accident. So, yes, I know what we're going to do now.
You laughed. You were genuinely amused by this. But then you shrugged and turned around. All right then, grab my zipper, if you really mean it. With shaking hands, he took the metal bit and pulled down. You made a gulping sound as you peeled yourself out of it. Hands on your hips, Moon looked at you.
You aren't wearing underwear under that costume.
It's pretty tight as it is. He hummed shyly.
You were skipping too many steps in this process. I don't know what to do now.
You stepped before him, tapping one of his hands. You placed it on your chest. Just be a little creative. Your toes curled as he squeezed your flesh tightly. You let out a sharp sigh, and he blinked. He couldn't help it. He liked the noises you were doing. Just one thing, you said, turning away and kneeling down to take out your phone. I need to play some music. My favorite love-making music. I have a playlist.
Why?
You deadpanned as you looked at him. I'm not fucking an animatronic without listening to Guns N' Roses. Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive. Special thank you to my lovely channel members Anura, Chloe Rombo, Cherry Red Bunny, These Nuts, Nicodemus D, Cat Cove, Kaya Abyss, Bit, Zings, Melofia, Sleep Town, Hella, Next Wrist, AJ Anime Girl, and Hopeful. Your support is greatly appreciated, my darlings.